Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Intelligence Mod Pod. Today, we are going to be talking about one of our favorite classes, the most useful class in the game, probably the strongest class in the game, and that's the Ranger. Everything I just told you is a lie. I mean, we are going to talk about Rangers, but they are not the favorite. They are not the strongest. I feel like, if anything, they are the redheaded stepchild of Wizards of the Coast.
Yep.
I often describe that the new 2024 update, everyone got multiple level ups, and then the DM looked at the Ranger and said, here's a +1 longbow that lets you use Hunter's Mark. And that's it. Overall, I like this class. I will be that person. I enjoy playing as Rangers, but go into this knowing that I enjoy playing weak characters. I don't like to be the big hero. I don't like to be the strongest member of the group. So that's probably why I like the Ranger class so much, because they are in fact not going to be the strongest. You might have a niche Ranger every so often, but I feel like the majority of them are not going to hold up in pretty much anything, because everything they do, someone else can do slightly better.
Yeah, and even if you want a jack of all trades, you got that as a bard. So,
I mean, I want to say, though, I feel like the Ranger is a better support in specific circumstances than the Bard is. Now, we do get Bardic with Bards, but unless you're using magical secrets, you're not getting spells like Pass Without Trace. That I think when you're playing with, you're trying to do sneaky shit, I think I would rather have a supportive Ranger than I would a support Bard. Unless your Bard is like an Eloquence Bard and he's like out in the middle of the crowd distracting everyone, in which case I think that's a better tactic than just everyone trying to sneak. But if that's not an option, I would rather have a Ranger or a Druid. Let's be real, Druids can do that shit too.
Yeah, Druid can just do it better.
I mean, overall, you're gonna see as we're going through Ranger that they hold a very special place in my heart. I will play them many, many times. I have played them many times, but everything they do, someone else can do slightly better. They just do a lot of things mediocrely.
Yeah, not very well. They do a lot of things not very well. I think I love Ranger. Ranger was one of my first classes. Like I've said before, I played 3.5, and Ranger was my go-to class. And Ranger felt really good in that one. Ranger does not feel very good in this one. I don't know.
I would like to say, though, my opinion of Ranger is a little skewed in comparison, because I typically don't play an archer when I play a Ranger. I usually will play a wisdom-based, more like spellcasty Ranger that has pets. I mean, I don't know if you can tell this from Maraway, but I love having companions. I like to have things up in the fight that I can support. And I feel like Ranger gives me that. Drake Warden specifically, holler at your girl, Drake Warden. Easily my favorite subclass for Ranger, and I can't wait to talk about it once we get to subclasses. I think it's the best support Ranger class out there. To me.
I like melee Ranger. I usually play melee Ranger. I don't actually use long range most of the time. I'm up close and personal.
Okay. I will say, though, if you are a cross-classer, usually we don't talk a whole lot about cross-classing in these videos because I really want it to be kind of basic, but if you are a cross-classer, Rogue and Ranger go together.
Yes,
they are made for each other. I feel like Ranger just really ups what the Rogue is already doing. And if you're trying to play more of a Ranger, getting a little bit of Rogue kind of fills that damage gap that I feel like Ranger loses in comparison to the other classes. But with that, we're going to jump in and tell you a little bit about how the Ranger works. So, first thing first, you are a half-caster. So this means that as you are progressing, you are not going to be getting up to 9th level spells. I believe 5th level is the highest that you're going to be getting to. So you are going to have a little bit of magic, but you are not going to be nearly on par with your spellcasting focused classes and companions and friends. with that, that also means you are probably not going to be as strong as your martial uh, party members. If you're looking to play like just that archer that is mowing people down with a bow, play a fighter. This is not it. This is not archer. That just happens to
Yep.
be something they do.
Mm-hmm.
But don't play arcane archer. We'll tell you why in a future episode. Um, your spellcasting modifier for that's also going to be wisdom, which I love. I think I've made it pretty clear that wisdom is my favorite stat in the game, and I will do everything in my power to play a wisdom-based character pretty much anytime I can. You get light and medium armor with shields, and you start with a D10 hit die. I think that's excellent. I think that's significantly more than looking at the rest of the Ranger build than I thought Wizards would give them, because they've kind of short-sticked them everywhere else.
Yeah, usually casters are like D8s, so D10. At least you got that Ranger. You got a little more hit in
Yeah.
ya.
And I mean, I think it really kind of sits in the same place as, like, because that's what Paladins, our other half-caster, are getting. Because realistically, there's only two real half-casters in the game. You know, I know a lot of people consider Warlocks kind of a half-caster because they don't have the spell slots that other people have, but they're not really. They're kind of their own thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a nice little half-caster thing, is that you're getting a D10. Do Artificers get that?
God, I haven't touched Artificer in such a long time.
I haven't either. I wonder if, but I do wonder if that's like an actual, like, hey, half caster is a D10. It's not. They have a D8.
Hey, that's
Good job, Ranger. You beat the Artificer. When you start at level 1, it's going to be 10 plus your Constitution modifier, and then every level up, it's going to be 1d10 plus con mod or 6 plus con mod. Again, I would go with the average because you're already going to be a slightly weaker character. So you're going to want as much health as you can get. If you're feeling risky, go for it. You're already playing a ranger, so I guess in that stance, you're already risking everything on picking this class. And you can use simple and martial weapons. Your saving throws are going to be strength and dexterity. I think strength is a weird one, personally.
I understand what they're going for, but they do not, because like you could be, I guess, a strength-based ranger or a dex-based ranger. Honestly, you're going to be dex 90% of the time, just because a lot of the weapons dex is just better. Plus, it gives you better AC. But yeah, that is. I understand it in the form of the story, like the storytelling, because they could be either strength or dex, but really when you honestly only give them the ability to actually be a dex person, kind of like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I wish it would have been dex and wisdom, because I feel like perception is a key feature of the ranger.
Yeah.
I think that would have fit a bit better, because like as we're gonna get to talking about, I don't think ranger is as much of a combat class as people want to make it. This is like,
Nope.
Do they do combat? Absolutely. Do they do it well? Yeah, they do it pretty good. But they are not going to be doing combat as well as a barbarian, a paladin, a fighter, a monk. And then if you look at the casting side, they're not doing nearly as well as the sorcerer, the wizard, the warlocks. Hell, I think even a bard is probably going to out damage them with magic. So, I would have given it wisdom. They're a out of combat specializing class that people think is an archer. But with that, when you get your skills, you're going to choose 3 of them between animal handling, athletics, insight, investigation, nature, perception, stealth, and survival. Overall, I think if you look at this skill list, it makes it very clear that this is something for out of combat. Outside of like athletics, I feel like that's the only thing that you're really using in combat. I kind of wish medicine was on this list, though. But But overall, I think animal handling, insight, and either perception or stealth are going to be great for you. The only one I really don't see myself taking as a ranger would be athletics and investigation.
Yeah, again, investigation, I understand, but it's one of those stats that's based off of intelligence, so you're just not going to have a good time doing it as a ranger. You have too many other priority stats to go with. You're not going to dump it usually into intelligence.
Yeah, I think that one's a bit of a waste. But your role in the party, you are going to excel at exploring. When it comes to dungeon delving and getting through the forest that's full of traps, this is your bread and butter. This is where you are going to shine. When I say it's not a combat specific class, this is a exploration focused class. Going into it, you need to understand that exploration is what you are here for. You are here to find the traps. You are here to get your party through the difficult terrain. You are here to essentially just get them from point A to point B without dying, so that when they get to the combat encounter at the end of the dungeon, they still have full health and they can do what they need to do. Also, you do a little bit of single target damage. I think they're serviceable as a good single target damage. They have decent control spells such as Entangle to kind of CC the rest of the enemies. And they can also serve as a bit of an off healer or a support if you build more wisdom heavy. Which of those roles do you find yourself usually going for when you're a ranger?
When I'm a ranger, I will probably be more combat oriented and good for different skills, either like lockpicking, stealth, disarming traps. That's what my ranger usually looks like. Yeah, I don't usually do too much heaviness on the casting. The problem I have with a lot of the ranger spells is there's too many. I don't like. Unlike you, I don't like a lot of things summoned. So if I have my ranger pet plus summon nature's ally plus summon nature, like summon space spirit, it's like that is far too much of army of stuff that I have to take care of. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm mostly just like it's just me and my pet. And then half the time, hey wizards, since you gave everybody else the familiars, let them be face spirits, just let the frickin' ranger have a face spirit so it doesn't have to worry about it frickin' dying all the time. Because after like the first 2 levels, you're gonna be like, oh, I have this bear or I have this wolf. It's great. I love it. I never wanted to get hurt ever in my life because if it's dead forever. So just hang back there because
Yeah,
like a
well,
fireball will murder it.
I will say, if you acquire the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything book, they do fix that. Tasha, when it comes to Beastmaster subclass specifically, they do a lot of fixing on that specifically. Because I agree with you. I don't want my pet anywhere in the danger with current 2014. But yeah, I will be very much excited to talk about Beastmasters. I think next time we talk about Rangers, we will be talking about Beastmasters. But yeah, I get that. I find myself more in the exploration kind of healer support role, a little bit of control, but I also have found my rangers taking the face role quite often. And I'm going to tell you how I do it as we go through here. So with that, we're going to get into the 2014 Ranger. Yet again, I have failed to remember to have a piece of paper in front of me so that I can write down when we switch to each section so I can timestamp it for you. Because preparation, who needs it?
Who needs that?
I know, I sure don't. But with that, 2014 Ranger. We're going to be starting off with a couple of options between scale mail or leather, 2 short swords or 2 simple melee weapons, a dungeoneering pack and an explorer's pack, a longbow and a quiver of 20 arrows. Again, it's alright. I don't think there's really anything super great about any of this equipment. I feel
No.
like every other class gets a little bit better stuff. I feel like they get more.
Hmm. Yeah,
Personally.
I mean, they don't even give you an option, I think, for shield. So they're like, you could use a shield, but you can't start with a shield. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to pick up a shield, but still, just give me the option to have a shield.
Yeah, look, I love people who take off meta things to build, and the off meta tank ranger I think is excellent. I think it's super fun, and especially because now here they come with their pet also doing this damage. So the pet is kind of covering the damage they're losing from tanking. I'm into it. I wish there was a bit more variety with this starting equipment,
Yeah.
but it is what it is, I guess.
I feel like that's just the Rangers thing. I just wish there was a little bit more, or a little bit more something, and that's just
Well, let
kind
me
of
tell you
Ranger in
something.
it.
That is the Ranger theme. I wish there was more.
I wish there
Um,
was more.
Unfortunately, the Ranger is not going to leave you satisfied. You're going to wish
No.
for a round 2, and they're tuckered out and can't do it. But we're going to get into it. So at the first level, we're getting favorite enemy. You have significant experience studying, tracking, hunting, and even talking to certain type of enemy. Choose a type of favored enemy between aberrations, beasts, celestials, constructs, dragons, elementals, fays, fiends, giants, monstrosities, oozes, plants, or undead. Alternatively, you can take 2 races of humanoid, such as gnolls, orcs, elves, and whatnot, as your favorite enemy. You have advantage on wisdom's survival checks to track your favorite enemy, as well as intelligence checks to recall information about them. When you gain this feature, you also learn one language of your choice that is spoken by your favorite enemy, if they speak one at all. You can choose an additional favorite enemy as you level up at 6th and 14th level. I feel like the silence is deafening. This feature, not feat, this feature is okay. I don't
This
think it's
feature's fine.
bad. It's just,
No.
I wish so badly that there was more to it. Like, it sounds like there's a lot, but realistically, you can track one specific thing better.
You're gonna be really good at that one niche thing. I wouldn't even say you're gonna be good. You're just gonna be slightly better than. Honestly, like if they say just get humanoids, I'd just take the humanoids. It just gives you more,
Yes.
and then you're gonna fight humanoids a lot more than any other thing else. Unless you want to be like the dragons killed my mother, or oozes
Mm-hmm.
have destroyed my lineage, or whatever. But like, if you want to make it just a good ranger, you're just gonna be like, I'm just gonna do gnolls, orcs,
Yeah, pick up some elves. Pick up
giants,
some
elves.
human things you're going to be fighting a lot because if you're going against cultists, guess what? There's going to be a lot of humans in those cults that you are going to be able to track a lot better.
Plus,
Um
plus, that's the only way you're gonna get like that's. I think that's the only way I think you can get like a multiple languages. Like that's the
yes.
only way. Like that ranger, if you just want to be a linguist, just be a ranger. That's the only way. Unless you don't want to cast magic, and
And
then you can just
that's
be like, yeah, yeah.
the ranger's ability to get more languages is specifically why I make my faces rangers sometimes because you can speak to everyone. And when we get to, I think it's like 3 features down, I'm going to show you that's the one I take, and that one gets you far more languages than you probably should have. But overall, favorite enemy, it's not my favorite, but it's not useless. It's just so niche. I
Yep.
wish, even if it I don't know if this would be overpowered, but I wish there was something like an extra D4 against that enemy or advantage against that enemy, like just something. Because if you know this creature's anatomy, you would know where its weak points are.
Yeah.
On this specific creature, the critical hit is 18 through 20 instead of just 20. Something. I wish there was more to it.
Yeah, it's just like old rangers. They used to have that all those good fun things, but now they don't because they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "You're too strong." I'm like, no, they were just very strong against a very specific enemy that they
Mm-hmm.
like to fight because that's kind of their deal. But sure, whatever. Just take it away, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because your DM's going to be like, I'm sure you're going to incorporate your, to make you feel good most of that time.
Mm-hmm.
But like a majority of the time, you're not going to be fighting a bunch of your favorite enemies all the time. So you can feel like a super badass cutting through people with that extra damage. And even if you did have that extra damage, this this ranger, it needs it.
Yeah.
It's not going to break the bank.
DMs, if your ranger shows up and you have a campaign set out and they're like, my favorite enemy is dragons because they killed my family, who knows, whatever, let them do that. You better slap a dragon somewhere up in that bitch. Be good to your players. Like, if you didn't plan for this favorite enemy to show up, throw them a bone. Give them, like, what that does for you as a DM is it gives you a storyline that your player wants to play. Don't waste it. There's so many times I hear DMs that are like, I don't know what to do to get my players engaged, to get them like emotionally involved. This right here, they're telling you, I want
Yeah.
dragons. I want drow. I want orcs. They're going to specifically tell you what they want to fight. If they pick humans, are they a bounty hunter? If so, give them some missions every so often. Hey, you find an envelope under your pillow while you were sleeping. It is a find this person and bring them to justice. It is not
Yeah.
difficult to give your players what they want, especially when they literally are telling you what they want.
That's just kind of the thing is like that is one bonus like ranger can definitely give that. That's what cleric gives you. That's what warlock gives you. They just kind of hand it to you. They're like, here's some role play,
Mm-hmm.
do it. And uh, if they choose that class, it's what they give you. And yeah, yeah, favorite enemy will let you do it. Have it incorporate. Ask your rangers why are they your favorite enemy?
Yes.
Like why do you hate these people so much? What is it that makes it so that you learned the ins and outs of these things to just be a death machine to these specific things? Why is this such a thing to you?
Well,
And
I want to
then
point out, it's not even a death machine. You can just find them.
yeah, you can just find
Again, death machine is what we want it to be.
we want it to be a death machine. That's what Old Ranger is. I keep going back because I want it to be
And
so
that's what
bad.
3.5 Ranger was.
You
Yeah,
get an
just
extra damage dice.
absolute destruction to what you want to kill.
Yep.
Um, Also in level 1, we're going to be getting Natural Explorer. You are particularly familiar with one type of environment and are adept at traveling and surviving in such regions. Choose one type of favorite terrain from Arctic, coastal, desert, forest, grassland, mountain, swamp, or underdark. When you make an intelligence or wisdom check related to your favorite terrain, your proficiency bonus is doubled if you are using a skill that you are proficient in. While traveling for an hour or more in your favorite terrain, you gain the following benefits. Difficult terrain does not slow your group's travel. Your group can't become lost except by magical means. Even when you are engaged in another activity while traveling, such as foraging, navigating, or tracking, you remain alert to danger. If you are traveling alone, you can move more stealthily at a normal pace. When you are foraging, you find twice as much food as normally would. While tracking another creature, you also learn the exact number, their exact number, their sizes, and how long ago they passed through the area. And you can choose an additional favorite terrain at level 6 and 10. I'm going to be honest with you. Unless you are doing a fuck ton of, like, what do they call it? Like, downtime travel? This will do nothing for you.
No, it's really not. It's not gonna get you again. It's just that's the Rangers thing. Is like I have this very niche thing that if we were in these very specific things or doing this very specific enemies, I am good. Well, I'm okay. Um, it's just that I don't know why they just can't make it. Like I get favorite terrain is because like you're a ranger of the ocean, you're the ranger of the. Just make it a more generalized thing. Like I know it kind of like downplays like they're a ranger of the sea or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but just give them something to like when they travel together with a ranger in the open, or maybe I mean if it's the other dark, it's like it's gonna give them better movement time. Just flat.
Yeah.
You have a ranger, you're gonna get more movement. Is it gonna break the bank? No, not really. It's not gonna do a whole lot. Like,
Also,
whatever.
for me, I wish they would just drop the for an hour or more.
Yeah.
Because, like, what, if I'm traveling for 45 minutes, like, I can become lost?
Yeah.
That's silly. I feel like had they dropped that, it would have been a much better feature. But again, that's the Ranger for you.
That
I
is the Ranger
think
for you.
in a super high survival, we're scrounging for food, we're just trying to survive in the wilderness. I think it's a great feature because you're getting double the food you normally would, and you're going to be getting your proficiency bonus doubled while looking for that food. Um, but to me, that's the main use for it is foraging food. So if your DM is not like really keeping track of your food intake, again, it's going to feel like you never use this feature. Um, but that's going to bring us to some optional features. These are brought to us by Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Because Tasha, unlike Wizards of the Coast, loves Rangers, and she did her absolute best to try to
She
fix them. So both of
she
these
did.
features replace the two that we just talked about. The first one is Deft Explorer, which replaces Natural Explorer. When you are unsurpassed in exploring and survival in both wilderness and in dealing with others on your travels. You gain the canny benefit below, and you gain access to different benefits when you reach 6th and 10th level. So canny, you choose one skill proficiency. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make using the chosen skill. Essentially, it's expertise. You also can speak, read, and write 2 additional languages. Boom. So that means when you start off, most people start with 2 languages already. That means you're starting with 4. If you take like a noble background, like I did, I think the way I finangled it, I started with like 6 languages with my noble summoner Drake Warden Ranger. I think Canny is honestly Deft Explorer to me is severely stronger than Natural Explorer.
Yeah. I'm not gonna disregard that. Just more languages is better, man.
However, I will say if you are trying to, explore and gather food, go with that one. But if tracking people is not your ranger shtick, if you are like when you think ranger, it literally means someone who ranges, which means travels great distances. To me,
Yep.
this says I travel places and I talk to more people. I know different cultures. I speak languages from all these cultures I've been to. That's why I like this one better. I think it fits a ranger better.
I agree because they will trade with a lot of different people. They'll be in a lot of different areas, and that's the whole thing of Rangers thing is they are like those live off the land kind of people at the most part. Most of the time, kind of those loners. That's what the typical thing is. But they're the ones that know their environment. I think it's not even just like doesn't have to be nature. They just know their environment, whether it be a town or anything else. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're the ones that are going to be able to track something. They're your bloodhounds, man. They're gonna find the stuff.
um, our second optional feature is favored foe. Uh, and this one is going to replace favored enemy. So this one, when you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can call on your mystical bond with nature to mark the target as your favorite enemy for 1 minute, or until you lose concentration, as if you were concentrating on a spell. This is what New Hunter's Mark should have been.
Mm-hmm.
The first time on each of your turns hitting a target with your favorite that is your favorite enemy, you deal damage, extra damage to it, including when you mark it. You increase that damage by 1d4. I think this is great. We're getting extra damage. You can use this feature to mark an enemy a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you recover each of your expended uses when you finish a long rest, and it goes up as you level. This should have been a feature for what Hunter's Mark in 2024 should have been. You
Yes.
use it like concentration, but it's not.
Exactly. Because that's my problem that I have with Hunter's Mark is its concentration, which limits you, and...
Yeah, So this
Good
gives
job,
you
Tasha.
Hunter's Mark. Yeah, Tasha gives you Hunter's Mark. It's slightly weaker than Hunter's Mark, but she's going to give it to you without it costing your concentration spot, and it's going to get stronger as you go. I like this. Personally,
I would 100% do Tasha.
I take both of the optional Tasha
Tasha.
features over the basic. I will be honest, again, I don't really like talking about the optional ones during these specific videos because I feel like, I want to keep it very basic, but Ranger is the exception. Tasha
Ranger needs it.
saved the Ranger class because it was absolutely awful before her. Thank you, Tasha. This is why you're my favorite.
Yeah, Tasha definitely helped it. The problem that I also have was, like, Tasha's came out and then the new stuff came out and was like, oh, we're just going to take a lot of Tasha stuff. Ranger was like, oh, they made it actually okay? No, let's do something different.
Take it back.
What? Let's make it back to horrible again. Like, what? Why? Tasha did good. Why did you want to break it again to be terrible?
There
I
were
don't
some
understand.
questionable choices. Yeah. Level 2, though, we're getting spellcasting. So, level 1, we couldn't cast magic. Now we can. We get 2 cantrips and 2 spells known. Great spells for this. We're looking at Entangle, Goodberry, Hunter's Mark. If you're trying to be a healer, Cure Wounds, I guess. But, again, you're not going to be as strong as the cleric sitting next to you. So, if they need a little extra help, that's where the Goodberry comes in. You're also going to gain a fighting style at 2nd level. Some good ones to pick from. We have Archery, which is going to give you that bonus 2 to your attack rolls with ranged weapons. Defense, while you're wearing armor, you gain a +1. Dueling is for using one-handed weapons and no other weapon in your other hand. And 2-weapon fighting for your dual wielders. Also, Tasha. Thanks again, Tasha brought us Druidic Warrior, where you learn an extra 2 cantrips of your choice, and they count as ranger spells for you. That's the one I take. All the time. Every second
Anything, and I think this is just with D&D, anything that lets you customize your player to be something that they want is just better. Let them do it. And I think that's what I have a problem with as also Ranger is you have so many penalties for being a strength-based Ranger that there's no reason to be one. Like, Tasha's at least lets you have the option of being a caster-ish.
I mean, cantrips, but...
Yeah, there's something. It's better than nothing. Like, you can hit them with your, I don't know, acid spray or...
You know what spell I did so much damage with that I didn't expect to be a great damaging spell was Create Bonfire. Was my signature spell. You just plant that shit down, and then our tank had, like, Sentinel, so he would just lock them into my bonfire. Excellent.
Yeah, but options. Wizards, options. Don't pigeonhole.
Yeah.
Like
I hate the 2 what is it? The great weapon fighting isn't on here. If you want to be like
No.
Why?
I hate that for Ranger you cannot. They're like, well, it's just Warrior. Well, then let them just fucking have it. Warrior has all the stuff too. Just let them have Great Fire. And then they're like, I mean, later on, there's a thing that says, like, if you're wearing heavy armor, you can't move fast. It's like, stop that. Knock it off. Just slap them. Like, they're already taking a disadvantage already. Let them have the movement speed.
Yes. And, like, I think all the time of, like, when none of these fighting styles are really going to work super great. If you want to be, like, a spear-wielding hunter, if you want to be, like, a savage living in the forest, spear hunter. I mean, I guess dueling can kind of. But still, it's not going to be super great. And if we want to up that to, like, a glaive or something that's two-handed, you get nothing. You are stuck with you're stuck with very specific combat roles on a class that is not the best at combat.
The one that also should be versatile, because that's their whole thing. Their shtick should
Mm-hmm.
be they're very versatile in all their things. Let them just change on a long rest or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let them switch it. I don't know. Like, it's frustrating. I think that's what the biggest word gets me with Ranger is it's just frustrating because they're so pigeonholed into these very specific spots that they need to do that it's just not Ranger. Ranger is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be someone that can do all these things and be very good at it. But D&D is like, do you admit you're are you in the desert fighting goblins? No? Well, most of your features are going to suck then. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah. Level 3, though, we are going to be grabbing our Ranger archetype or subclass. I think this is where Rangers start to not be as awful. I think level 1 and 2 Ranger is really hard to play. It's not super fun to play, but once you get the subclass, I feel like a lot of the Ranger subclasses are a lot of fun. Again, they're not going to be as strong as other things, except for Gloomstalker, which is ridiculous. And Drake Warden gets pretty crazy as well. But again, the subclasses, the flavor, I wish Ranger was one of the subclasses in 2014 that came at level 1. Because how are we just explaining that this animal showed up? Like, what if that's my backstory, is that I have this bear, but I don't get it until we're 3 levels in?
Right.
I don't like it. But you're also getting Primeval Awareness. You can use an action to expend 1 Ranger spell slot to focus your awareness on a region around you. For 1 minute per level of the spell slot you expend, you can sense rather the following creature types are present within 1 mile of you, or within up to 6 miles if you're in your favorite terrain. And that's Aberration, Celestial, Dragon, Elemental, Fae, Fiend, and Undeads. This feature does not reveal the location of the creature or number. Whoop-de-doo, you know that they're within a mile of you, but who knows what direction. I wish it was like, it gives you a vague...
Sense.
Like, I wish it was like, it gives you a vague direction of where they are.
Right.
You know, like, we don't need complete latitude and longitude GPS coordinates on them, but like, they're somewhere north of you. Excellent. We know that somewhere north of us, within a mile somewhere, is this thing that I am trying to track.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm not just it's just Ranger.
I mean, whatever. Level
Whatever.
4, we are actually... You had mentioned something, and I had to double check that it's here, because I didn't put it on my list. But you were talking about you wish you could change your fighting style. Well, Tasha has heard you, and she has given you that option. At level 4, along with your ASI or feat, you can, if you take the Martial Versatility, which is a Ranger feature brought to us by Tasha, you can change your fighting style to any of the other ones on the Ranger fighting style every time that you... whenever you reach a new level. I thought it was with every long rest, but I am incorrect. Every level up, you can change it. But
it's something.
You're still limited to only the Ranger ones. I wish this had opened it up more.
Yeah. Again, I agree. Yeah, I want more diversity in Ranger, and they just don't have it. And I don't know why they thought pigeonholing people into specific things is really cool.
Yeah, because I mean, I want to talk about another class real quick, or any other class.
Yeah.
Right? You look at, say, another class that could be seen as pigeonholed, the Warlock, right? You have very specific things that you are picking, but those invocations can completely change your character. At any level up, you can completely change the way your character plays.
Yep.
With a sorcerer, yes, you are pigeonholed into your bloodline, But the choices of your spells completely, like you could have two draconic soul sorcerers, and they are completely different play styles because of the way you chose to build them. Whereas I feel like the ranger, you kind of have two options. You are either DPS or you are explorer. Those are your two options, and both of those options, someone else is doing almost everything you're doing, if not the same or better. Because realistically, I feel like a druid could do almost all of what the ranger is doing exploration-wise.
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, what you're saying is, like, the problem I'm having is, like, the base class for sorcerer, the base class for warlock, they are solid. Ranger is a house of cards, barely holding together, and then you put your subclass on top of it, and the subclasses, like you said, the subclasses for ranger, there's some pretty good ones. They are, but their foundation is so shaky. It's so just bad, in my opinion. It's just so bad where it should just be a more, like, your base class should be your overarching cover everything. Like, it should just, like, when you're in a terrain for over a day, you now can track things in a certain location, or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, give
Like,
me a feature where, like, in the terrain you're in, if you spend 1 hour, like, feeling the soil, looking at the foliage, examining the wildlife, it becomes your favorite terrain for a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus.
yeah, just something. So give me something that I can be more useful overall to the group in this very base thing. And, like, same with the favorite enemy is, like, is your favorite enemy, like, I could switch it, or I don't know. I don't even know if I could switch it. Just letting it something that you can, like, just do something. Like, I get it that you want it to be specific, and that one can be your core one. Like, your core one could be this, but you should let it be able to diversify a little bit. Because if your feature is reliant on this one thing and there's not that one thing, it just feels really shitty. Like, and if you're doing a pre-made, like, God forbid you're doing a pre-made campaign, and they're like, my favorite enemy is dragons. Oh, we're doing, like, the...
Out of the Abyss.
Yeah, Out of the Abyss. Well then, buddy, let me tell you, you're gonna be shit out of luck. Yeah, so...
Definitely a class that you need to talk to your DM before making the character. Because you could be a rock star in your group, or you could be useless. I feel like Ranger is really a feast or famine kind of class.
Yeah.
Level 5, though, we are getting extra attack, which this is where my spellcasting druid kind of falls off in terms of other druids are going to be doing a little bit more damage than I do because they're getting extra attack, and I'm not getting multiple cantrips. I will say, though, I think with a lot of, like, I normally take, like, a pet class, so Beastmaster or Drake Warden, I can give up my attacks, and they can take them for me, so I'm not really losing a whole lot, but it's more than I would like to. So, archers, two-handed swords, dual wielders, this is where you're going to start pulling ahead of your wisdom-based rangers. But spellcasters, we are getting second-level spells, so that brings us Pass Without Trace, Aid, and Spike Growth. All three, I think, are fantastic spells to do fantastic things, depending on what you're wanting to do. If you're a ranger and you don't take Pass Without Trace, shame on you.
Shame on you.
Shame on you.
That's your whole thing.
That is, in my opinion, that is the one ranger spell that I think is a requirement. Everything else customized, take Pass Without Trace. Your party is going to need it at some point. This is where I say that I see Ranger as a support class, right? This is where it comes in. Because your Rangers are usually going to have a bit better stealth than your Druids are. So if your Rogue is going in on a stealth mission, odds are you can accompany them and give them that Pass Without Trace. So you are making your Rogue, who is already a powerhouse stealth machine, even better stealth. You are giving them the ability to go through some difficult terrain every so often. Like, you really are helping your team do what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, this is as good as it gets right here, is 5th level. This is where you come into your own.
Everything after this.
It's okay. This is where you are going to hit your power spike. And then it goes back to Ranger. Because at level 6...
This is your high school. This is where you peaked. Everything is downhill from here.
Yeah, level 6, you're getting an extra favorite enemy if favorite enemy is what you took. This is okay. If you chose Dragon and you are in Out of the Abyss, this is your time to grab Drow or Monstrosities. This is your time to fix your mistake. If you took Natural Explorer, this is your time to gain an extra favored terrain. So if you chose Mountains because you thought you were going to be hunting dragons, and again, you find yourself in the Underdark, this is where you can fix that problem.
It may have taken 6 levels, but you...
It took you 6 levels to fix your mistake, but here we are. If you took Deft Explorer, at this point you're going to be getting Roving, where your walking speed is increased by 5, and you gain a climbing and swimming speed equal to your walking speed. I think this is fantastic. Having a climbing and swimming speed is so good.
So good.
So good.
And it makes sense. They're nature people. They do stuff. Is that the one that still says that you have to have not heavy armor, or is that one says that you can wear heavy armor?
This doesn't have anything that
10 out of 10.
Anything.
Keep this.
Yes. And if you chose favored foe instead of favored enemy, that damage is going to go from a D4 to a D6. Again, Tasha is pulling it out, and she's crushing it. I love both of these, but if you did take the other two, I think this is good to get an extra favored enemy or favored terrain to fix any mistakes that you made, or to, give you a little bit more diversity. I wish this was like a 4th level feature for those two. But it is what it is. At 7th level, we're getting an extra subclass feature, and that's it.
Yeah. Yay.
Excellent. At 8th level, ASI or feature, and we're getting Landstride. Starting at 8th level, moving through non-magical difficult terrain costs you no extra movement. You can also pass through non-magical plants without being slowed by them or without taking damage from them, if they have thorns, spikes, or a similar hazard. Additionally, you have advantage on saving throws against plants that are magical, or magically created to manipulate or impede movement, such as those created by Entangled Spell. I think this is decent. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
Again, it's niche as fuck.
It is niche as fuck, but
but it's good.
It's good. Like, there are situations that it could be useful. Again, this is just Ranger in its own hat. There are particular times where you are useful.
I want to say, what would have made this a good feature, though, not just an okay, is if they got rid of the non-magical difficult terrain part of it. Had it just been difficult terrain. Because how often is it that you're in the back line, say you're like a dual wielder, and you're trying to rush the enemy, and they slap down some difficult terrain. Well, shit, this feature doesn't help you because it's magical.
You know what feature will help you, though?
Fucking
your feet. Speed. If you take Speedster, you got it. You just use that dash. Don't matter if it's magical or shit. You're just running over it.
Is that a 2014 feat?
That's a 2020 one.
Yeah, so we don't have access to that here, unfortunately. So you're still stuck in the magical mud. Sorry about that. But overall, I think this is an okay feature. It's niche as fuck, but when it does come in handy, I think it's going to come really in handy, especially going through the thorns and whatnot. This is, again, out of combat, but those out of combat traps can stack up damage-wise. It might not seem like a lot when you're taking 3d4 damage, but if you have to take that 4 or 5 times, it's going to start stacking up. 9th level, though, we're getting 3rd level spells. This gets us Conjure Animal and Revivify. Also great spells, but I feel like by this point we're at 9th level. You know, our spellcasters have been revivifying people for 4 levels already.
They've already far surpassed you in terms of everything, and you're just like,
Everything.
"Hey guys, I finally here," and they're like, "Wow, that's cute. You're cute."
Adorable. They're like pinching your cheeks, your little
Yeah.
fledgling spellcaster. If you're wanting to play like a caster that, like, story wise isn't very good at magic, that's what I did with mine. My character was like a sorcerer who did not inherit her magic strong enough, so I played a ranger instead, so I was a half caster. Um, and so, like, lore wise, you can make it work and it can be fun. But if you are focusing on spellcasting, know that everything you're doing, the druid and the cleric have been doing for 4 levels. They will always be, like, ahead of you.
Yep.
10th level, we get hide in plain sight. You can spend 1 minute creating camouflage for yourself. You must have access to fresh mud, dirt, plants, soot, or another naturally occurring material for which to create your camouflage. Once you are camouflaged this way, you can try to hide by pressing yourself against a solid surface, such as a tree or wall that is at least as tall and as wide as you are. You gain a plus 10 to your dexterity stealth checks as long as you remain without moving or taking an action. Once you move or take an action, you must camouflage yourself again to gain this benefit. Stack this shit with Path Without Trace, and you automatically have a 20.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how great this feature is. Because, like, on paper, with Path Without Trace having a 20, you're hidden, right? You're great. This is golden. But how often are you going to be in a spot where you can just
Or you
camouflage
have a
yourself for a minute,
goddamn fucking minute, yeah. Like
and then what, you
you,
just sit there for like 5 hours waiting for the enemies to get there?
like again in very specific spots. Like if you need to infiltrate a spot that you know like a camp's gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
and like you're gonna sit there and like drop some fucking intel in there, just sitting there. I guess that's great, but like you can't move,
Yeah.
so
So I mean, for like recon, or like if you're trying to like hear what people are saying and you know where their meeting spot is gonna be, this is great. This is
yeah,
great.
it's cool,
But
but it's a minute.
mm, I mean, the minute I'm not too worried about. It's just the fact that you just have to sit there and hope that what you're hoping happens. Otherwise, you're just sitting there with a bunch of mud all
For no
over you.
reason. Yeah.
Um, or with Tasha, if you would like to replace that feature, you can also get, or in exchange, you can get Nature's Veil. Uh, you draw powers on nature to hide yourself from view briefly. As a bonus action, you can magically become invisible along with any equipment you are carrying or wearing until the start of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and gain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I'm going to be honest with you. In
Cautious.
combat, I think this is great.
Yes.
But if you are playing an exploration ranger, I do think Hidden in Plain Sight is better. This is great in combat, but I think outside of combat, Hidden in Plain Sight is significantly better because this only hides you for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
But in combat, which one
I
would you
agree.
take?
Cautious.
I would have to decide. I wouldn't know which one I would take. I would have to see, like, I feel like
The
that one's
thing
going to be heavily
is,
dependent on your DM's playstyle.
yeah, even if so, if I am going to be a ranger and I'm going to have that ability, it's going to be so neat. I'm already going to have really high stealth anyways, right? I'm already
Mm-hmm.
going to have pass without a trace. And if I'm
Yes.
going to be there, I can I'm going to be there for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I already have high stealth, and doing that extra stuff, I gotta hope to God I have all these things, or I gotta be carrying mud with me and sticks and shit
Mm-hmm.
put on me. Just the invisibility could just be better, and like I could realistically, then if I get caught during that, I could use the other one to just escape, just keep turning invisible and just book it
Mm-hmm.
the fuck out of there. And I think that just sounds better. Plus, it does again, it's kind of their thing is like they're in tune with nature. They can kind of use nature's force. They
Mm-hmm.
have magical powers because of nature. I don't. The other one is fun, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah.
I
Um. Also at level 10, though, if you took Deft Explorer, the one that I think is the best feature Tasha gave us, you gain Tireless. As an action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your Wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. You can use this action a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I think this is great. I like it. It didn't translate over, but also in addition, whenever you finish a short rest, your exhaustion level, if any, is decreased by 1, which normally you have to do a long rest to do. I love this, because you know what that means? That means you can just do nothing but short rests.
Yeah.
Because if you take a point of exhaustion, you can just pop it out with a quick hour nap. Have you seen the Coffee Lock Warlock build?
Coffee Lock Warlock build, yes.
I feel like this is that, but better. Because your DM won't see it coming. Yeah, I like Tireless. I think overall Tasha's gave us so many great things.
Way better.
Levels 11 through 13 really aren't giving us a whole lot. Once we hit 13, we're going to be getting 4th level spell slots, Stone Skin, Freedom of Movement, things like that. But again, not a whole lot. But 14th, we're getting Vanish. Starting at 14th level, you can use the Hide action as a bonus action on your turn. Additionally, you can't be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. Again, I wish they'd get rid of that fucking non-magical. By 14th level, you should be able to evade a bit of magic. Come on.
This should be one of your strongest. This is like end game stuff. This is like people are doing real crazy shit. It's like, wow, you cannot be tracked by magical means. It's like, okay.
Also, if you took favored foe instead of favored enemy, your D8, or it's gonna go up to a D8 instead of the D6. 15 through 17, again, aside from getting an ASI or feat at 16, not a lot's going on, except for 15 we are getting a subclass feature, 16 ASI, and 17 we're getting 5th level spell slots. 18th level, though, we're getting Feral Sense. You gain a sense that helps you fight creatures you can't see. When you attack a creature you can't see, your inability to see it does not impose disadvantage on your rolls against it. You also are aware of locations of any invisible creatures within 30 feet of you, provided that the creature isn't hidden from you and you aren't blinded or deafened. What the fuck does that mean? Provided that the creature isn't hidden from you. It's invisible. That's a weird feature to me.
I guess if it's invisible, I don't know.
If it's invisible, it's hidden. What is happening with that one? I mean...
Please explain.
I guess. Sure. I don't like this feature. I don't think it really fits thematically. Like this... I don't think... We're at 18th level. Monks have been doing blind fighting for how long?
Yep. Just give them fucking True Sight. It's not gonna break their bank at this point, okay, game?
Give them True
Just
Sight
let them have
for
True
their
Sight.
favored enemy or foe.
There you go.
This is level 18, and you're getting like a 3rd level monk feature. This is so frustrating.
Yeah,
19th
I know.
level ASI. 20th level. I had a note next to this. Okay, this I think is the weakest capstone feature I have ever seen on a class. Level 20, you're getting Foe Slayer. You become an unparalleled hunter of your enemies. Once on each of your turns, you can add your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll or damage roll to an attack you make against one of your favorite enemies. You can choose this feature before or after rolling. Honey. Once on each of your turn, at absolute best, you can add a +5 to your damage. At level 20.
At level 20.
+5.
They don't even give you extra damage. They're just like, or an extra D8 or something. I don't know. Just
You get 5
D5.
damage maximum once per turn.
Wow.
And only against your
So
favorite
good.
enemy.
Yep. B.
Guys, this is bad. If you're playing as a ranger, I'm gonna be completely real with you. At 15th level, when you get that subclass feature, or even if you want the ASI at 16th, stop. 15 or 16, cross class. It's time to go. It's time to get some better features. If you want some more spellcasting, go to Druid. If you want some more damage, go to Fighter. After 16th level, no man. It's bad.
It's bad.
I'm still. I made this list like a month ago, right? And I was like, wow, this is really bad. And I'm looking at it, and I'm still amazed
at how terrible it is.
Like, honestly, once on each of your turns, add your wisdom modifier to both your attack and damage. Okay, that's not great, but it's not awful. You know, hell, once on each of your turns, add your proficiency bonus doubled to, you know what I mean? Because you're already getting proficiency to attack. Double it for the attack and then add it to your damage. Sure, because that's a +6. That's better than what your wisdom would have been. And odds are, if you're doing if you're a DPS, odds are your wisdom is only going to be a 14 or 16. So you're only getting a 3 or a 2 or 3. For level 20.
For level 20.
This pisses me off. I really, really fucking hate this capstone feature because it's so bad.
Yeah, everybody else is slaying gods, and you're like,
3 extra
damage.
Got
my toothpick, guys.
And I don't understand why it's once per turn. Let them have it on every one of their attacks.
Yeah.
You know, because at least then, if for whatever reason you have the 20 in wisdom, it's a 5. It's 10. I mean, 10 damage is still weak as shit at level 20. That's like a tickle.
Yeah, you're only getting 2 attacks anyways. It's like...
But I mean, even... Yeah. Because I was going to say, if you cross-class into fighter, but this is level 20, you can't. But...
No.
It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating that, in my opinion, like, if you look at Cleric, by level 5, I feel like if you stopped all Cleric leveling up except for health, they would be a stronger character than a level 20 Ranger.
Yeah.
I feel like a Cleric with the health of a level 20, but only the Spirit Guardian spell, is a better character in combat-wise than a level 20 Ranger. I think a Druid with high survival is a better tracker. Well, maybe not a better tracker, but they're serviceable. And their level 20 capstones are going to be better. I don't get it. I don't get why they bent the Ranger over and fucked them this hard.
They need to give them another attack. Yeah. Give them the other attack.
I mean...
Remove something. I don't care. Just, if you're going to give me... Like, most of your features are fucking garbage anyways. Just give me another attack.
You know, I really hate this. So let's move on. Let's go to a shining light. Let's see if 2024 has helped us at all. Because Tasha helped us previously. Let's see if Wizards has helped us. Because that's just... It's sad. Starting gear. You can choose one of 2 things. Studded leather armor, a scimitar, short sword, longbow, 20 arrows, a quiver, a druidic focus, an explorer's pack, and 7 gold. Or 150 gold.
There's still no shield. You have the ability to use shields, but they still don't give you a shield.
No. Also at level 1, we're going to be picking up spellcasting now, so we don't have to wait till level 2. Which I think is I think that's good. I like that. In addition, favorite enemy, we still have it. You always have, but it's a bit different. You always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared. You, oh, excuse me. You can cast it twice without expending a spell slot, and you recover all uses at the end of a long rest. So, the number of times you can use it is without using the spell slot. It goes up with your proficiency if you don't cross class. If you do, then you'll have to look at the little chart. It has it, but if you're not cross classing, it's your proficiency modifier. I didn't think favorite enemy could get more disappointing.
And then they brought this along. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't. Remember when favorite enemy did not take your concentration?
Yeah, that was nice. Remember when you had stuff that you could cast other things, but now you can't because it's Hunter's Mark? The problem I have, again, is you're pigeonholing them into certain things, because Hunter's Mark is a concentration spell. I don't want to be close. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to lose my concentration.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be ranged. It's like, but what if I wanted to do melee? Well, you're going to get hit. Am I going to lose your concentration? Probably. You're going to take Warcaster to fix it?
If you want to be an archer that's summoning creatures to go out there and tank for you, no. Because Hunter's Mark. You have to have
Hunter's Mark.
And if you're not using Hunter's Mark, your entire first level feature is wasted.
Yep.
God, I hate this. I hate this. But you're also getting 2 weapon masteries. That's great. I like that. Good for Rangers.
Good for Rangers.
I guess.
You're going to need it.
Level 2, we get Deft Explorer, which essentially you're going to be choosing one of your skills that you're proficient with to gain expertise in. And you are going to go ahead and get 2 languages. This is decent. This is fine.
Yeah.
I like this. You're also... Good. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just to say, yep, he's good.
Also, you're going to be getting a fighting style. Or a fighting style, yes. Below, defense, dueling... Great weapon fighting is here.
Finally.
Excellent. Protection is here. As is Druidic Warrior. I'm so happy to see protection and great weapon fighting added to this list. Because we want versatility. However,
we do.
Your level 1 feature is still shit. So
your level 1 feature is still shit.
Third level, again, we're going to be picking up our subclasses, and 4th level, we're going to be grabbing that ASI. Excellent. So not a whole lot happening there for this video, but at 5th level, we are going to be getting our extra attack. We are going to be getting our 2nd level spell slots. So again, Pass Without Trace, Aid, Spike Growth, excellent spells, and that extra attack. And... you have great weapon fighting now if you so choose. So you can have that 2-handed weapon and be attacking multiple times. Level 5
you're peaking again though. You're peaking at level 5. Yeah, you're peaking. This is your peak. Everything is downhill from here.
I feel like there's a couple of features continuing on that are decent. Level 6 roving, your speed increases by 10 while you aren't wearing heavy armor. You also have a climbing speed and swim speed equal to your speed. I would like to point out that even with heavy armor, you can still climb and you can still swim. However, you are losing that 10 feet. It's okay. I get what they're going for. I get it. Because heavy armor is not part of, like, the Ranger class. You would have to take features to get it. So, I'm more okay with it. Because realistically, if you are wearing heavy armor, I do think it should slow you.
Yeah, but at this point in time, like, you just take Tasha's. It'll give you 5, and you can wear heavy armor. Just take Tasha's.
Well, if you're playing 2024, you can't, because it's not part of that. That's only for 2014. So unfortunately, we're stuck with it. Sorry about it.
I would just switch. If I was a DM, I would just be like, here's the 5 feet, and you still have climb speed, and if you wear heavy armor, whatever, it's just 5 feet. It's 5 feet is 5 feet.
Yeah, I think you should be able to
Go off
sacrifice 5 feet for heavy armor if it's your choice.
Yeah.
Level 7 through 9, not a whole lot going on. Level 8, we're getting that ASI or feat. Level 9, we're going to pick up 3rd level spell slots and 2 extra expertise. I like this. I think Rangers need to be getting more expertise. I like that they're kind of matching the rogue in that aspect. At 10th level, we're getting Tireless again. So this went from being an extra feature that was optional to this is just built in. And that is going to give you the temporary hit points. So as a magic action, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. You can use this action a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses at the end of a long rest. This still also at the end of a short rest gives you the exhaustion decrease. So once you hit level 10, you no longer need long rests. You just need a quick 1 hour short rest. So while the rest of your group is sleeping peacefully, you can be patrolling, and then they can watch over you for an hour. I think that's really strong, honestly. I'm a fan. I like that one. So we did lose our extremely powerful Hidden in Plain Sight, where we can smear mud on ourselves for an extra plus 10.
Oh no!
Shit. It is what it is. Before, was it a, hold on, I have to go back and look, because I'm wondering, oh no, it was an action then too. I thought it was a bonus action for some reason, but yeah, it was an action back then. So they literally just copy and pasted it from 2014 Tasha and gave it to us here. 11th level, we get 3rd level spells, 12th level ASI or feat, and then, oh no, we already had 3rd level spells. I lied. We're just gaining an extra. My writing sometimes gets me, but at 13th level, we are getting some goodies. We're going to gain 4th level spell slots, like it's, again, Stone Skin or Freedom of Movement, are the ones I would recommend. And we're also getting Relentless Hunter. Taking damage can't break your concentration on Hunter's Mark. Wow.
Hooray!
Level 13. Hunter's Mark no longer requires concentration. That would have been great. Honestly, I would have not been as upset because, yeah, we're having to wait a long time to do it, but at least we're getting it.
Yeah. So it requires concentration, so you can't use any concentration spells or anything else, so...
Whatever.
Just a bunch of poop.
Whatever, 2024. Fucking... Their obsession with Hunter's Mark, and especially because Hunter's Mark is not that strong. Like...
No.
It's... You deal an extra 1d6 force damage. And you have advantage on perception and survival checks to hunt them down.
Hooray! But it doesn't require concentration. Well, sorry. It doesn't break your concentration now, so...
1d6 damage, and it doesn't go up in damage as you level.
Nope, it's not like fucking Monk, where their unarmed strike dice goes up. Nope. Nope.
I really hate...
Nope.
Like, how in love they are with such a mediocre spell. Like, I wish it also procced on your pets. I don't think it even procs on, like, Beastmaster pets. Like, I would have been more okay had that been the caveat. You know, like, if you're a Beastmaster, your pets also deal damage on your Hunter's Mark. Or, I don't know.
Your allies?
I mean, allies could have gotten a little OP if you've got, like, you know, a party of 6 and then here's 5 extra D6, but...
Make it a D4 then. I don't give a crap. Still something.
I wish it would have been anything. Anything.
Right.
But it is what it is. Level 14, we're going to gain Nature's Veil. As a bonus action, you can give yourself the invisible condition until the end of your next turn. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses at the end of a long rest.
Tasha.
Hey, Tasha. Thanks. We love to see when Tasha is still relevant, you know, in 2024. But... So, previously, we hit level 15 and got a really cool feature.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting that here. I'm going to be honest.
Nope.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I think level 10 is where I'm stopping my ranger. When I get the tireless, that's where I'm ending. I think that's where I'm stopping.
You would not be wrong to do that, because everything after that is just stopping at 5 would also be acceptable. Like,
I mean, but let's be real. Level 6 getting extra movement speed, I like that. Level 9 getting 2 more expertise, I like that. And then the temporary hit points and getting rid of exhaustion. The getting rid of exhaustion is so strong.
Well, yeah. All those are really, really good. Like, 5 or 10, I can understand stopping at any of those. If you're going past 10, you're just hurting yourself.
Yeah, because realistically, let's talk about a niche, right? If you're wanting to play the spellcaster, once you hit 10, pop over to druid. Pop over to cleric. Either of those two are going to do you wonders. Because they're both very front-loaded. Cleric specifically is very front-loaded. If you're playing a warrior of some kind at level 10, pop over to fighter, pop over to barbarian, or if you've already popped over to those, beforehand. When you're planning your character and you're like, say, the campaign's going to be up to level 16, I would only plan 10 levels of ranger. Maximum. That's like if I really want to be a ranger.
Yeah.
Because at level 15, we're not really getting anything. Level 16, we get ASI or feat. And level 17, we're going to gain 5th level spell slots. Awesome. But we're also getting Precise Hunter. You have advantage on attack rolls against the currently marked target of your hunter's mark.
Yay.
There are so many ways to get advantage. So many. And I'm going to be honest. This feels to me like it should be somewhere between level 7 and 9 is where this feature belongs. This is not a 17th level feature.
This is not god killing. Like, I am at 15 plus. We are god, like, legendary monsters.
Not quite. Level 17, We're fighting cosmic entities, yes.
Okay, yes, we're fighting cosmic entities.
We're fighting aspects of gods, But, okay, let's talk about how this could have been better. DMs, feel free to use any of this shit that we're saying. This is what I would do if I had a group and we had all previously talked about it. Obviously, make sure the rest of your group is okay with these changes, because it doesn't want to seem like you're just buffing your one character or one player into oblivion. But you have advantage on attack rolls against creatures marked by your hunter's mark. Excellent. You also have, I would say, like Savage Attacker, how you roll the damage twice and take the better.
Yeah.
I would add that onto it, as well as adding your wisdom modifier damage.
I have no problems with this.
I feel like it's still weak. Let me tell you.
It's still, it is still weak.
But
it's better.
I feel like it's not powerful. Like, it's not overly powerful. I don't know why they were so afraid to make not rogues, but rangers powerful.
I don't know. Yeah. Level 15, just give me another attack, and then I can see some of this stuff being okay.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Level 18, we are going to be getting Feral Sense. Your connection to the forces of nature grant you blind sight with a range of 30 feet. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. Did we not just...
That was for their favorite enemy, but yeah, this is basically what we were saying. We were like, hey, but now you just get blind sight within 30 feet.
So you're getting what monks got forever ago. Excellent. Again, level 18. At this point, we are in fact starting to fight, maybe not gods themselves, but, people who rival the gods. We are, we are stepping toe to toe with, like, I don't even know, like, what, Vecna. We are stepping toe to toe with, You know, aspects of Tiamat, like,
Ancient dragons, stuff like that. Yeah,
and we have blind sight.
We get blind sight. Yeah.
Come
Woo.
on.
Give it. Just change that to true sight. Just put that. Just true sight.
Again, even if it was just give true sight against favorite enemy, that would be a level 18 feature.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. But no, blind sight.
But
30
no.
feet. 30 feet.
Blind sight.
Whatever.
Yeah. So your bow is gonna be completely fucking useless.
I'm over it. I'm over it. Level 19, we get our epic boon like everyone does. Good for you, Ranger. That is the only level up that you really are getting something that is worth getting after level 10. Level 20 feature, the damage of your hunter's mark is a D10 rather than a D6.
Wow! Finally got it, guys! As our capstone! Hooray! Booyah.
So, we talked about clerics last week. Their capstone was literally, you cannot fail at warping reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Get fucking wish. What do you get? A D10! Wow, cleric's looking at you like, wow, buddy.
I went up 2 die. My average damage went up by 4. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I struggle to find the words to describe how disappointed I am.
Mm-hmm. This should be
your
capstone
is weaker than a level what is it, like level 5 rogue feature where your sneak attack goes up to 2d6.
I would raise your unarmed dice for monk, because I think monks, like, their unarmed dice is like a D12 at that time, as like at that high. You're like, monks over here, like, plus their capstone is fucking nuts. Let's just put that. They get like +4 to con and straight like dex. It's ridiculous. Like, and then Ranger's over here like, I get a D10, and monk's like, that's great, buddy. I can just do that passively.
This is horseshit. This is the worst capstone I think there is in both 2014 and 2024. This, to me, is almost offensive. It's, like, insulting that they thought that this was a level 20 feature.
Yep.
Everyone else
in
the game at level 20 is a god. And I still think realistically, I think a level 14 barbarian would whoop the shit out of a level 20 ranger. And I'd like no health modifiers to make them equal health. Like a straight up level 14 barbarian would kick the shit out of this guy.
You're not wrong. We definitely know a cleric can. Cleric will. Cleric can and will
body. I wish. Like level 20, let's think about it. All terrain is favored.
Yeah.
You are immune to difficult terrain and cannot be restrained by magic associated with terrain. Excellent. There is so much. Like, when I think about level 20, you are a god at this point. You are essentially a demigod. Like, realistically, like I know we say god, but you are, in essence, a demigod in power.
You are a legendary figure. You are you are the things that are told of legend. And the Rangers up there like, I got a D10!
Hi, guys, I did it! No.
What is your warp reality bending powers? The power to
you
do
got
Hunter's
blind sight, and you can do an extra 4 damage on average per hit. It fucking sucks. Everyone, I don't think I can describe... Like, I honestly think 2014 is a better Ranger. Which is saying a lot. Because at least we made it to level 15 before we jumped ship.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, the foundation is, for some reason, they were like, Hunter's Mark is going to be our foundation. It's like, why? Why did you decide of all the fucking things in the world that it had to be that? Because it's not that great.
See,
It's not that great.
to me, 2014 with the Deft Explorer feature from Tasha's beats everything they did. Because we're getting the canny where we get 2 languages and we get expertise. We're getting roving for the extra 5 and we can have armor on during it. And we're getting the tireless. All from one feature.
Just do Tasha's, guys. Because this is all a bunch of horseshit. That's what we're telling you.
Like, I'm ready for... I'm trying to think of another character that's, like, really popular that can come in and save Ranger for this cycle, because they need it. You know,
It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. And
it really does.
the problem you're going to have, and this is the problem I have with Ranger, is your subclass is just going to interfere with that Hunter's Mark so much. And that's the problem you're going to have. Yeah. That is the issue that I'm also really having. Like, when we get into subclasses, guys, like, your Hunter's Mark is just going to be a fucking thorn in your side the entire time. It's just, I want to do this thing. Oh no, but what about Hunter's Mark? It's like, well, it doesn't really give me all that, but it's a fucking feature, so I guess I better use it. But honestly, why? Why?
You know what I want? The only reason I like Ranger is because it has pet classes.
Yeah.
I would almost want to talk to my DM and just take, like, Beastmaster on a druid. You know what I mean? Like, talk to your DM and just take the subclass from Hunter that you like and put it on something else. And I honestly believe you will have a better time. Because realistically, the subclass is the flavor you're trying to do. And Ranger just gives you nothing. Like, when I think about myself, if I'm playing a Ranger, again, Drake Warden or Beastmaster is where I want to go. I dabble occasionally in, like, Swarm Keeper. But, like, what am I getting from this that gives me what I want? You know?
The answer is nothing.
It gives me nothing. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not into it. I don't like I don't like 2024 Ranger. I think, as sad as it is, I would rather play a 2014.
And just do Tasha's.
Yeah, and just do Tasha's. And I think that's sad, because 2014 got so much shit. And 2024, they could have risen Ranger from the grave, and they chose not to.
They could have done Warlock. They could have. Like, made, like, Warlock just so good now. It's just so good.
It's so
and then
good.
They were like, Ranger. I'm sorry. Whoever was their, like, main person, their main thinker of Ranger, what the fuck were you doing? I want to know what your thought process was. Like, why did you think that these were good things? Like, there's nothing good about this. It's nothing flavorful about it. It is just...
No, I agree.
I just hate it. I hate it.
I
hate it.
I feel like 2024 got rid of... Like, in 2014, at least we had the strengths of out-of-combat superiority. They were so good at exploring. And I do not feel like 2024 has anything to do with exploring. It feels like they tried to turn it into a combat class and failed.
And failed horribly. They didn't give it another attack. They didn't give it, like, increase the Hunter's Mark damage, except for at the very end of your fucking capstone, of all things in the goddamn world. They didn't, like, I need that extra attack. I need my 20 to not be terrible, and I need my feral sense to not be terrible either.
Yeah, the only outside of combat thing they're giving us is the expertise in the 2 languages. And I mean, I guess tireless, but again, we
Yeah.
have that in 2014.
Yeah.
Overall, every single video so far, we have talked about how 2024 was an improvement. I'm going to give this a downgrade. 2014
0.
was better. 2014 for me, out of 10, I give it about a 5 or a 6. You know, it's playable, but it's not the best. I give this class like a 3. I don't like it. I probably will never play a 2024 Ranger. I will probably only play 2014 because the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
They got rid of pretty much everything that made the Ranger somewhat strong, even though most people... I feel like they turned it into what people wanted it to be, which is a combat class, but they left it with the strength of a non-combat class.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
It's just, I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't want anything to do with this Ranger. Tasha's, I could play it. At least I could play it. And like I said, I'm probably going to stop leveling it at some point because later Ranger just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to cross class. And whether I take it rogue or fighter or druid, I'm just going to get more out of that, my bang for my buck if I do that.
Mm-hmm. So honestly, normally this is where we go into final thoughts, but I feel like that was our final thoughts. I just didn't announce it.
Ranger
I feel
suck.
like the feeling I feel is disappointment. You know, because I feel like who doesn't have that fantasy of running around bow and arrow with a wolf next to you, just being like... I'm disappointed by it, to say the least. I think that's the end. If you would like to watch us not play Rangers, we live stream every Monday at 8 p.m. on Twitch, and then the videos go up on YouTube on Wednesdays. Come check us out for Dion Rising, where we play really good classes and subclasses that are not Ranger. I don't know. I guess I'll see you next week. It'll be my last week with the Royal in our gauntlet of 3. We're going to be talking about monks.
Yeah!
I will forewarn
Fuck yeah!
you. I know virtually nothing about monks because they don't interest me, and I never have people play them in my games. So this is going to be a learning experience for both of us if you are not familiar with monks. And maybe I can be made a believer. I know maybe one day I'll play a mercy monk, but... I'm hoping Royal can enlighten me as to why I should play a monk in the future. So check us out next week, same time. And until next time, may you have the intelligence saving throw to not pick Ranger.
Don't do it. Just, there's better classes. Just do other things.
Do other things.